Hello everyone. My last effort at getting that vertical wall worked out so well using the plastic that I decided to repeat it on the back section. So let me show you what I've got. All right. So previously I'd put a larger piece of plastic here. I'd put fiberglass, cloth, resin, mat on here and use tape and such to hold everything in place. I did the same thing here. So I went in, cut this edge straight. Notice this contour follows the contour of the seam for the hatch and the trunk. And I ran out of clear packing tape, so I used masking tape. I did have some packing tape. It didn't stick real well, but all I was using it for was a barrier. So I put it down and then I put the masking tape on top of that. All right, and so what I did after I finished this was I put body filler on top of here, a skim coat of body filler, and sanded this to where it's pretty close. It's not quite there, but it's pretty close. All right, so let me open up this hatch and we'll see what we got. The trunk. So again, this plastic is pinched in between the trunk lid. And let's see if this comes off any easier than the other one did. Pretty much the same as the other one. It's not coming off real easy, but it is coming off. I should probably have some sort of tool here, but I don't. I'm just going to pull the tape off. Here and here. And once again, because of the damp air and cold, the fiberglass isn't completely cured. Not a big deal. Give it a couple hours and it'll cure. Oops. That was the plastic breaking. I wish that wouldn't happen, but it is pinched in here pretty tight. There it goes. So the challenge is that I let it go all the way down to the ledge down there. So it's not only glued to this side, it's also glued to the bottom. And the bottom is what's going to be the hard time. But here it goes. And it did break. No big deal. Chunk out of it there. And that chunk will come off relatively easily. All right. What did happen, I can see, is that the plastic pushed the trunk lid over that way. That was a lot of force. So it's right against the edge right here, so I'm going to have to sand that a little bit. This part right here, if you can see, overhangs, I'll have to cut it off. I'll use my cutoff tool, run it across here, cut this. And then what I did was I took a piece, in fact I can close this. Alright, so I have the pieces here that went, let's see, that one obviously went right there. And this one probably went over here. There we go, just like that. Okay, so these are the pieces I took off. So I had a piece like this for here, and I cut a section of it. Instead, I could have filled this up with body filler, with fiberglass, and then put body filler on top. But since I already had these sections and they are the right shape, it was a whole lot easier just to use the shape that I have. Again, I have a mold for all of this. I'm just adapting the mold to this car. So the mold is the outside shape that I want, basically. So it doesn't make sense to do something from scratch, building up with body filler or whatever, when I have a piece that I can just attach. So that's what I did here, was I attached it here. So once this cures, again, it's sticky still. Once this cures, I'll come in, cut the excess, sand it smooth, put on a skim coat of body filler. This back section right here, I probably will not cut a section. I will just put body filler right here, because it's got to make a transition down to this surface. There's a step of, oh, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch. So I'll go ahead and flatten this out and contour it in here. There's a place right here where I had to sand through because of the difference in heights here. So I wanted this to meet with the edge of the trunk right here, and then I'll make a piece here like you just saw to go on top of there. So if you look, there's a little bit of a gap here, and the reason why is because this had to raise up. Before, it was bolted down solidly right there, but then there was that step all the way across this back that I have to fix at a later date. But I'm just going to fix this for right now, get this all done, and then I'll start working on what I'm going to do about that back center section. Let me go ahead and show you what I've got here. It's not finished bodywork level, but it's not bad. This gives you the shape. I'm going to go get some actual automotive primer. The stuff I've been using orange, I think it's Krylon or Rust-Oleum, I can't remember, paint, and I've been painting it, but it gums up if I use a power sander. If I hand sand it, it does okay, but if I use a power sander, it gums up pretty bad. And I'm at the point now where I need to get the surface as smooth as possible, or I will be at that point soon. Whoops, tripped over my own. So there you can see what it looks like. Let's back up a little bit. Okay, so my plan for today is to finish that back section that I just showed you, and then I will use the guttering that is right here and use it to fill in the gap of this running board and have that curved edge. So we'll see how far I get on that today. The other thing that is on my list is to fix this piece. I have a piece behind the body panel right here. This was the original opening and it was incorrect for this. So I made another piece, put behind here, put it about where I want it. So I'm going to bond those two together, smooth out that edge, smooth out the bottom piece as well, I guess. And then I'm going to experiment with what do I want this edge to look like at the top of the wheel. On the C2, they're flat at the top of the wheel. You can see it a little bit on the front, how it's got that flat section. I'm going to play with how much flat section do I want on each one. So I'll probably put something orange there and then use black tape to decide where that dividing